أهمية سد الفجوة بين المدارس والمنازل وضمان حصول الأطفال على ما يكفي من الوقت النوعي المليء بالمحبة والعاطفة مع والديهم هو من أبرز محاور اللقاء يلي أجرته الزميلة هالة بوعلوان مع شيوغ مور مؤسس ليتل لاند نيرسري ومونتسوري سنتر.
طبعا ضيفة فقرة موطن الحلم والانجاز ركزت على أهمية قبول المدارس والحضانات الأطفال من جميع الخلفيات. هذا لا يعني قبول الجنسيات المختلفة فحسب، ولكن قبول ذوي القدرات والاحتياجات الخاصة المختلفة أيضا. نتابع.
بيسعدنا أن يكون معنا اليوم مؤسس Little Land Nursery and Montessori Center السيدة شيوغ مور. Good morning, Shiyog, and thank you for hosting us in your beautiful nursery.
You're most welcome, Hella, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Shiyog, I was thinking before we started that I wanted to know the 3 W's. Why did you choose this field? When did you decide to choose this field? And how did you decide where is the location?
Right, so I think we start with the where first. So the where was Dubai. I was a young mom in Dubai. I was a neonatal intensive care nurse, and I couldn't really go back to neonatal intensive care nursing. It was very time consuming to work in a hospital, and it was also very emotional to work with babies who were suffering once I became a mom. And then my children were ready for nursery, and it was 30 years ago, and there wasn't the same standards of care in Dubai at the time.
Yes.
And a lot of the nurseries didn't have qualified nursery teachers. They had the quality and the education of nursery education wasn't so high. Courses weren't even available for teachers to become proper early years teachers at the time. So I worked out that I needed to start my own. So I could, and we had 3 tenets to start with, and it was that we would have qualified teachers, full-time assistants working with the teachers all the time, not going around, that we wouldn't do school trips, that it was safer to keep the children in the nursery, and that we wouldn't have screens.
I love that.
We still have the same tenets, and we still hold on to the same beliefs.
Since 30 years, you still follow the same system. I like that.
It's very child-centred, child-centric. We keep up to date with all the research. I did a degree in early years later because my degree was for nursing before, and I was very proud to realise that actually all of those beliefs and child development and neurology hadn't changed. So we were doing the right thing.
Amazing, amazing. And Shiyog, as parents, as actually part of the community, we come from a diversified background. And this is, I think, one of the challenges which whenever we want to register our children in a certain nursery, we ask ourselves, do they really respect diversity? Do they really know how to deal with difference? And diversity, as we were talking before, is not only about diversity of nationality or background. Sometimes it's the ability. So how do you empower this thing? How do you ensure this is satisfied? And how do you continue with the sustainability of that?
Well, in Dubai, we can't help but be diverse in terms of nationality. So we have 40 nationalities here at the moment. We have, I think, 9 or 10 nationalities amongst our staff. Our base teaching is through English, so everybody has English as a fluent language. And then we also have Arabic and French. But we embrace diversity. We say, what does it bring us? So if you come to us from China, you bring Chinese New Year, you bring Chinese culture. If you come from Arabia, you bring Eid. If you come from Iran, we had Iranian New Year very recently, which we celebrated so beautifully. And all the children celebrated. So they don't feel there's a difference, they feel there's an addition.
Yes, that's wonderful.
And if we talk about ability, I think
this is very crucial and sensitive topic sometimes.
Very sensitive, but years ago we were asked how many children did we have with special needs. And I said, all of us. Including me. Because we're all born
well said.
Very uniquely, and we all learn differently. And that's all we have to do is know that we start off, and we all start off not being able to walk.
We all have special needs. I like that. Yeah.
We really do.
We really do. Talking about this leads me to this question where whether it's related to special needs or diversity or continuous education, because education is not only restricted to school or nursery. Education also continues at home. But we are two different worlds in principle. At the same time, we have the same goal. How do you bridge the gap between both to connect with parents, to make it seamless educational path for students?
So we get to know our families really well. Our first meeting is a real, how are you, who are you, what do you need, what are you looking for, can we provide it for you? And then so we know who our families are. And then when they come to the nursery, we inform the families of what we're doing. So every Friday before the week ahead, they'll get a plan for the week ahead. So they know what books we're going to be reading, they know what songs we're going to be singing, they'll know what topic we're going to be doing, if it's the solar system or if it's under the sea. And they can talk to their children about these topics themselves. And children love repetition and familiarity. So if they have the same book at home, they might bring it in and they're so excited to bring their book and we read their book. That's just bringing it home. We also tell the parents every month we send home a newsletter and we'll tell them what we've done and how we've done it and how they can bring those activities into their home. So I'll often say to parents, you can actually do Montessori without any Montessori equipment.
Yes.
You can do it at home between your kitchen and your garden. And it's all about how you approach the child. So if you invite your child, if you ask your child, if you listen to your child. So one of our mantras is, our regular questions is, if it's an instruction, can we make it a question?
Yes.
If it's a question, can we make it a gesture?
Yes.
If it's a gesture, can we just stand back and say nothing? And in this way, the child learns to think for themselves. They learn to be explorers. They develop their self-confidence. If things don't go right, it's not failing, it's progress.
Yes.
Because they know the next time they try, that it'll have a different chance.
I like that. And I know, like, Shiog, from reading about the history of everything you've done, you always keep innovating, however, maintaining the same goal, which is focus on the child themselves without distraction. I know also you have special projects you're working on. If you can tell us about these projects, the unique ones you're working on at the moment.
Well, I'm really excited. So we've had a soft start all year and we're launching our Montessori teacher training company this weekend. So we do have teachers who are ready to qualify in 3 months' time, but we're launching Teachwise Vocational Institute with my very good friend, former teacher, amazing teacher trainer, Sita Sagar. And Sita has her own training company and nursery in India. And it's a hybrid course, hybrid courses that we're doing with Montessori teacher training diploma. We also have a beautiful course. It's a blended Montessori course where teachers who've trained in something else before can actually train as Montessori teachers and have a double qualification. So
amazing,
so
impressive, and congratulations for that.
Thank you very much.
Shiog, before we wrap up, as a parent, I know now my child is 16. He's no longer like, but like for anyone who's watching us, and I know many people would want to watch this episode because we all have kids, either our own or our friends or our families. What tips do you give parents to continue the education they have here? What ways, like 2 tips? If you want to choose 2 tips to empower more our children, what are those 2 tips?
2 tips to empower our children. First of all, be with them. Know that connection and significance are the 2 characteristics or qualities that we need for healthy human development. For parents of teenagers, choose your battles. Don't argue with them. Remember what matters in the future.
Yes.
Be authentic to your values, and your child will have the courage then to be authentic to theirs.
True.
You are their model. Everything, how you respond to something, if you respond angrily, for example, on the road, they learn to respond angrily on the road.
They mirror us.
They do. They do, absolutely. If you show and demonstrate calmness, and if you demonstrate a willingness to learn and relearn yourself, they will also then have the courage to learn and continue learning.
Moore, thank you so much for having us here, and thank you for the wonderful tips you gave us today. Very inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.